So parallel and perpendicular lines, right? So first of all, what is a parallel line? What is a perpendicular line?
If I'm not mistaken, is that parallel is where the lines are the same?
Nope. 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 So first of all, we have to understand what parallel and why is this not opening? Parallel and perpendicular lines are. That's first of all. So we get to a blank page. Let me log in here. Parallel lines are two lines that will never cross. They're not the same line. They have the same slope, but they're not the same line. So there are two lines that will never cross. Okay, so parallel line. Oops, I don't know where I forgot the EL from. Parallel lines are lines that will never cross. What's perpendicular lines?
It lines meet. Is that intersect? Intersect. 90-degree angle.
So it's not that they just intersect, they intersect and they form a 90-degree angle. So I'm going to try to draw two parallel lines. I don't know how good I'm going to be able to do it, but let's see. So two parallel lines are like that. They go on forever in both directions and they will never ever cross. Okay. Perpendicular line is a line that will cross, but what's important is they form a 90-degree angle.
Angle.
Okay. So this is parallel, this is perpendicular. And that's very important for you to know. So when you have an equation of a line, it's giving you an equation that gives you a slope and y-intercept, but that line goes on forever. So that's the difference between a line and a line segment. Lines will go on forever. It doesn't matter what the value of x is. Now, how you evaluate them may be a little different. Well, what do you mean by that, Mr. Tinsley? Like, for example, if I had an equation of line for selling of hats, right? I can't sell negative hats. So my line is only going to start when x is 0. So -1 is not going to be a point that we need because in a real life scenario, I can't make negative hats. Okay, so that's when you want to keep that in mind. But so what you remember, parallel lines are two lines that will never intersect, and perpendicular lines, they will intersect, but what's important is they form a 90-degree angle. Right. So let's look at the study guide here. They ask for what is the slope that is perpendicular to 5x minus 2y? So first of all, let me open up what's called Desmos. Desmos is a graphing calculator. As you're doing linear equation, you can use that to have a visual representation of those lines. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to go to Desmos, right? And I'm going to put this line in, what you see. I think it was 5x. What was it? 5x minus 2y equal 1. Okay. So let me maximize this screen. That is the line 5x minus 2y equal 1. So this is in standard form now. So now you should be, can you tell me what the slope of this line is from the slope of this equation? What is it? What is the slope of this line? 5x minus 2y equal 1. What's the slope of this line?
The 5x.
Mm-mm.
Oh, 2y.
Nope. So that's the important thing you got to recognize. So first of all, when you have a linear equation, you must be able to identify the form of the equation. There are three forms of equations that's on the GED sheet. When I go over my class or my sessions, I go over two. The first one is slope-intercept form. So if you're given an equation in slope-intercept form, M is your slope, B is your y-intercept. And this is where most people make their mistake because they try to remember math. So what happens is people remember, oh, what's ever in front of the x is your slope. Your slope is not 5 here. That only works for if your equation is in slope-intercept form. So if I had y equal 5x minus 3, then my slope is 5 and my y-intercept is -3. This is the biggest mistake people make because they try to remember math and say, oh, whatever's in front of the x is my slope. No, that is not correct. Your slope is in front of x when your equation is in slope-intercept form, when it looks exactly like that. So if I had an equation like that, this -3 plus 5x, this is not slope-intercept form. It's a form of it. Why? Because I can change the order of my terms. So what I do is, this is not slope-intercept form. Y equal mx plus b. In order to put in y equal mx plus b, I'm just going to change these two terms. Y equal, I'm going to put 5x first and then put -3. Now it is in slope-intercept form. Okay? So when you looking at equations of a line, you should be able to identify, is it slope-intercept form or is it standard form first? So what you should recognize is this equation is in standard form. And standard form is ax plus by equals c. So if I write this equation down, 5x minus 2y equal 1. You should now be able to directly see what a is. You should be able to see what b is. You should be able to see what c is. So a is 5, b is -2, c is equal to 1. So I gave you a shortcut. This is not how they want you to find the slope and y-intercept on the GED exam. What I'm doing is giving you a shortcut. And to find the slope, you take the opposite of a and put it over b. So if a is 5, the opposite of a is what?
Negative.
-5. B is -2. Two negatives make a what?
A positive.
Positive. So the slope of this line is 5 over 2. So that means if I go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 2, 1, 2. Am I on that line?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the slope is. If I go up 5 and over 2 again, I'm going to be on that line. If I go up 5 and over 2, I'm going to be on that line. If I go down 5 and over 2, I'm going to be on that line. Okay? So if I go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, is that halfway in? 1, 2, 2, and over 2. 1, 2. I'm on that line. So that's what you want to remember. So we got the slope from here is 5 over 2. Okay? So this is the important thing. You have to be able to identify the type of equation first. Then you find the slope and the y-intercept. And this is what you need to practice. This is why after we have our sessions, after we have these classes, you need to go online, do them till you got them. Because how can you understand, first of all, how to find an equation of a parallel line or perpendicular line if you don't know what a parallel perpendicular line is, or if you can't find the slope of that line? So first, that's like trying to multiply if you can't add, right? So again, you got to understand the concept first. So we want to be able to identify this as standard form, find out what the slope and y-intercept are. So let me save this, let me clear it. So you should be able to look at this quickly and say, this a, so that's -5, over -2 is positive, slope is 5/2. My y-intercept is c over b, right? Which is 1 over -2. But that's not what they're asking, right? But watch this. I want to show you something that's very important. We know the slope is 5/2. So watch this. It doesn't matter the form that we're in. Watch this. Y equal 5/2 x. Watch this. I want to show you something. X. It doesn't matter what that y-intercept is. When the slopes are the same, these two lines will go on forever and never cross because they are parallel, because they have the same slope. The equations look different, but the slopes are the same. So when we talk about perpendicular, which is the negative inverse, change the sign and flip. So -2 over 5x. It doesn't matter what I put there, -4, -3, -2. If you notice, as that line crosses those other two lines, it forms a 90-degree angle. It forms a L. Okay? So now, visually, you can see that 5/2 and 5/2, when the slopes are the same, the lines are parallel. For the green and the blue, the slope is 5/2. The slope here is -2/5. These are perpendicular. So this is why I write them like that. So the slope of the perpendicular, so the slope of this perpendicular line is -2/5. So you have to know that. Let me save this and go back to the study guide real quick. You have to know that in order to answer that question. But then that question becomes much easier if you understand. Let me clear the screen first. I thought I cleared it. And go back to that Adobe. Oh, I got all these sheets open. So here, in order to answer this question, first you must know what do they want? What's the slope of a line that is perpendicular to this equation right here? The equation of line that's perpendicular are two different equations. They're not talking about this equation. But in order to know something is the slope of the perpendicular, we must know the slope of this. So again, we already did that. Take the opposite of A, which is -5, over B, which is -2, and the slope is 5/2. The slope of any line parallel to that line is also 5/2. So if this question would have been parallel, what's the slope of the line that is parallel? We would have said this. This is parallel. This is why when I go over it in the ebook and I go over it in class, I do both of them because they're going to ask you one or the other. If you want to find the perpendicular, again, the easy way to remember, change the sign and flip. So if the slope is 5/2, that's positive 5/2. So if I change the sign, that becomes negative, and I flip the fraction. 5/2 becomes 2/5. So the slope of the perpendicular is -2/5. Most people get this wrong, but it's one of the easiest questions on the exam, if not the easiest. But it only becomes easy when you practice. So when you can identify that equation of lines as standard form, as slope-intercept form. Once I find that form, what is the slope? If they want to know the slope of a parallel, it's going to be the same slope. If they want to know the slope of the perpendicular, it's a negative inverse. Change the sign and flip. So, but guess what? They're not going to give it to you that easy. Okay? They give you this on this practice test. If they give it to you like this, you should be laughing all the way to the bank. Like literally, you should be laughing all the way to the bank. If you have problems with this, then you watch this over because this is not hard. Remember, okay, standard form. So what I would be doing if I was practicing is I would talk myself through this equation. So I say, what is the slope of the line that is perpendicular to? Okay, this is in standard form. While I'm doing this is what I would be doing. Oh, this equation is in standard form. Standard form is AX plus BY equals C. A is 5. Y was in front of the X. It's in front of the y. B is minus 2. C is 1. To find the slope of some standard form, Mr. Tinsley gave me a shortcut. Opposite of A over B. A is 5, the opposite of A is negative 5. B is negative 2. Two negatives make a positive. The slope of this line is 5/2. But they don't want to find the slope of this line. They want to find the slope of a line that's perpendicular to. So the slope of the perpendicular is I need to change my sign, which is negative, and I need to flip 2 over 5. That's how you should be walking yourself through this problem. So when you see a problem like this, it's much easier than you thought. So, watch this. I'm going to show you something. 5x minus 2y equal 10. 5x minus 2y equal 14. 5x minus 2y equal 20. Are these the same equations? Are these the same equations?
Yes, they are.
They are? Why would you say they are the same?
I'm sorry. Because I'm looking at it in standard form, but no, they're different.
They're different. One is equal to 10, one is equal to 14, one is equal to 20. They're not the same equation. But this was important. They all have the same slope. M equal 5/2. M equal 5/2. M equal 5/2. Since the slopes are the same, all of these lines are parallel. This is the things you have to be able to notice looking at the equation. Y equal 2x minus 3. Y equal 2x plus 5. Y equal 2x. This is slope-intercept form. All of these, the slope is 2. Parallel lines have the same slope. These are all parallel. You have to know that by looking at them. That's no work to do. Now, watch this. Y equal 2x plus 3. Y equal minus 1/2 x minus 5. You should be able to look at this equation and say the slope is 2. You should be able to say the slope of any line that's parallel to it is also 2. The slope of any line that's perpendicular to this line is the negative inverse, negative 1/2. Well, how did you get negative 1/2? If m is equal to 2, which is the same as 2 over 1, if I change the sign and flip it, I get negative 1/2. So these two lines here are perpendicular. Most people get that question wrong. One of the easiest questions. So this is why when I have that review sheet out, I tell you to tell me the slope of any line that's parallel, and any line that's perpendicular. So we do all three at once. So you know so you understand that they're talking about two different lines. Not talking about the same line, talking about different lines. Got me?
Thank you.
You're welcome. What's the next question? That was parallel and perpendicular lines. What's the next question? Doesn't matter what it is. Let's see. What's one we haven't done in a while? That's one we haven't done in a while. Oh, let's look at some graphs. Let's look at an example like this. Because being able to read a graph is very important. Okay? So let's look at this graph. Let's look at this example. Because a lot of people have been missing how to look at a graph and what it means. So people understand the coordinate plane, x, y, axis. Oh, Mr. Tinsley, this is still a graph. This is still your x-axis. This is still your y-axis. So you have to understand that in any graph, you have two axes, your x and y axis. Doesn't matter what they're called, but my x-axis here is my time. My y-axis is going to indicate my height. Let me make these graphs a little big. So I can't because I got to read the problem. but it's still your X and your Y axis. You have to know that. Most people look at this and say, oh my God, I don't even know how to start with this problem. This is what you do. Kirsten walks up 6 flights of stairs to her office each morning as part of her exercise routine. Walks up 6 flights of stairs. That's total. Okay? So from here to here is 6. 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 They don't tell you that. How you know is the 6th flight of stairs is the height. So my graph is going to end at 6. Why? Because she stops at the 6th flight of stairs. She walks the first 3 flight of stairs, rests for 30 seconds. So listen to what happens. So I'm walking up the stairs. I rest. The time does not stop. So when it tells you it rests, your x-axis is your time. So this is my first 3 flight of steps. This is where I rest. Then I walk up the next 2 flights. Then I rest for 30 seconds. So the only graph that has rest in it, let me change my color, is here and here. Does everybody understand that? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because why your x-axis is your time. So if you got 0 seconds and time increases to 30 seconds, you're moving along that x-axis. So it can't be at the same point here. So it has to be rest. So this is your rest right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So student that I helped today said, Mr. Tinsley, well, how do I know which graph it is? I understand the rest. So I understood. So the person understood that these 2 couldn't be the answer. He understood that those 2 couldn't be the answer, but he couldn't tell which one is the answer. But this is what you got to remember. He walked up 3, he walked up 2, he walked up 1. So the length of the lines here, let me change my color to black maybe. The lines here can't be the same size. If I went 3, 2, and 1, they had to be getting shorter. So that's the 3, that's the 2, that's the 1. So this is the correct answer for this question. And most people get this question wrong. Most people actually answer this one right here. But that's, people miss rest for 30 seconds. And this is your rest. Right here. Right here. That's where you rest for 30 seconds. Your time still keeps going. Then you go up. Then it rests. Then you go up. Got me?
Okay. Never seen that before. I got you.
And this is why a lot of people get these graphs wrong. Because, and let me increase the zoom in so we can see it like much clearer. Okay, I wish I could take this. Can I take the zoom in? Yes, I can. Let's go to 250. Okay, 250. So again, you have to understand that my x-axis is my time, my y-axis is my height. So I go up 3 flights of stairs. I don't know what kind of word I was writing there. 3 flights, rest. 2 flights, rest. And then 1 flight, and I'm at the top. So 3 flights, there's no rest. I'm still going up. There's no rest. So it can't be that one. I go up, I'm resting. I go up, I'm resting. I go up. Possibly could be that one. I go up, no rest. How do you know? Because the time is the same. So if this was 10 seconds, when I get to this point, and this point is all at 10 seconds. So basically, I just jumped up to the next floor at the same time I got to the second floor. This don't even make sense. Because if this was your second floor and this was your third floor, how could I be at the second and third floor at the same time? So it can't be that. Now, up 3 flights of steps, rest. Up 2 flights of steps, rest. Up 1 step. But what you should notice is the 3 is your longest flight. That should be your longest line. Your 2 is a little shorter, and your 1 is the shortest. That's the 3, the 2, and the 1 flight. Got me? Ooh-wee. So, right. But listen, the GED, you cannot remember math. You have to look what's given and understand what you're looking at. So the first thing about graphs is your X and your Y axis. Your X axis is your horizontal axis, your Y axis is your vertical axis. Let's look at a problem like this. This is a linear equation, but this says proportional relationship for equation and graphs. It says Chelsea designs beaded bracelets. The equation P equals 7 plus 0.05B can be used to find the price P of a bracelet that has B beads. What does the number 0.05 in the equation represent? The price of each bead, the price of each bracelet, the number of bracelets made, the number of beads made. Can somebody please tell me what they think the answer is, or which answers, what multiple choice you can eliminate? Because sometimes you may not know the answer, but you know it's not. You can eliminate some of the responses, some of the multiple choice.
This is the price of each bead.
So you think it's the price of each bead?
No, wait.
I'm sorry, say it again.
0.5 times B times the B.
So do you think it's A, B, or C, or D?
Uh,
Or you don't know?
I, I think it's 0.5 times is the price of each B.
Okay, so Sharon think it's A.
I think it's that.
How about you, Javette? What do you think it is? A, B, C, or D?
Because
I
that's
have
a B.
no clue.
Hold on. Let
I'm
her
gonna
say
shut
what she
up.
think
I'm
it is,
shutting
and
up.
then we're gonna explain.
I'm not even sure, Mr. Tizzy. I really don't know.
So Javette.
I really don't know that one.
So what I want you to understand is when you say I really don't know, you cut oxygen off to your brain, and you're saying to yourself, "Don't look for an answer."
No.
Look at no. Hold on, because you know me well.
Yes.
So look in this equation, and I want you to tell me what the variables stand for. So it tells you explicitly in the paragraph what each variable is for.
Yes, it does. Let me make sure I got it right.
So
Okay.
what are the variables stand for? Remember, I always told you, you may not know the answer to every question, but if you identify what's
Okay.
given, you
Yeah.
identify what they want to know, you can kind of figure it out. So Javette,
Okay.
what are the variables explained in this problem?
The what is the price? I don't know.
Yes, stop. See what you just did
I,
again?
okay.
So listen to what I said. What the variables stand for is explicitly given you in the paragraph.
With the letters.
Right. So tell me what those variables stand for. So I'm not telling you, I'm not asking you something you can't figure out. But what I'm showing you is when your mind says, I don't know, you close down. So again, identify what you know. What does P stand for? What is the
Price.
the price? So
Right.
P is your price. What other variable is given?
The B for
The
beads.
beads is my B. What else
Okay.
is given? Right?
Okay.
So you're given 3 things. So Brandy, what do you
Yes.
think the 0.05 stands for in this equation?
That's gonna be the price of the beads.
Price of the bead. Okay. Okay. So now let's look at it. Again, start with what you know. So they gave me a linear equation, right? So P equal 7 plus 0.05B, right? This is a
Right.
linear equation. This is in the form y equal mx plus b. No, it's not, Mr. Tinsley. I don't see no x and y. I see b and p's. You're 100% right. But what you should know is that this term here has just slope and an unknown. This slope, this term here is a constant. So when you look at this equation, what you should realize is they can use any variables that you want. This is still a linear equation. This is your b, and this
You
is your
had dinner
slope.
tomorrow. Can you, we were going, it's just,
Okay.
Because
So
of that, because of that, what you know about the y-intercept, that's a fixed cost. That's not going to change. That's a constant. So plus $7, plus 7, I don't know what that is. I can't tell you what it is because it's not given here. But the 7 is not going to change. So no matter how many beads are in my bracelet, it's going to be 0.05 times B, which is the number of beads. So if I have a bead and I'm multiplying it by 0.05, that's telling me the what?
price of the beat each one.
Because if you had a cookie that cost $2 and you had 10 cookies, you would multiply 10 times 2. But this is what I want you to understand. When you look at this, they're giving you B. 7 plus the price of the beads gives you my P, right?
Right.
What does the 0.5 represent? Well, we know the 0.5 doesn't represent the price of the bracelet. So it
Right.
can't be B.
Right. Because it's saying bees, not bracelets.
It can't be the number of bracelets made because there's no variable for that. It's impossible to be C. So this is the point I want to make to you. Even if you eliminated B and C, now A and D, eeny, meeny, miny, more, take an educated guess. You got it down to 50%. So even if you don't know, and that's the thing I want you to understand. Identify your given. What do they want to know? And let's look what we given. So we know the price is P. So what does this tell me? The price of each bracelet is going to be $7 plus 5 cents times each bead. I put it in words. The price of the bracelet is $7 plus 5 cents times each bead. Now it's easy. Now I know what that 0.05 means. The 5 cents, if I'm multiplying that each bead, that's the price of the bead. This question, most people get this type of question wrong. And again, it's not a hard problem.
Right.
But what happens is when you change those variables from X and Y, people say, oh my God, is this a linear equation? And you can, listen, when they give you Y equal MX plus B, these two variables can be anything. I can have B equal MA plus 7. It doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that what you have to understand is that this term here is changing. That's why it's variable. That's why they have this variable here. This B is constant. It is not changing. So a linear equation has a term that's going to be changing. It's going to have another term that's constant that won't be changing. If you understand that, because they're going to give you an equation that says, okay, Mr. John has $1,000 to spend on caps for graduation. Caps cost $6 each, and shipping is $20. You have to say, okay, well, the number of caps, I don't know. I might need 5 caps for 5 students. I might need 10 caps for 10 students. That's variable. That term is going to change. So that term is going to give me the slope. That B is the $20 shipping. No matter if I could order 5, I order 10, I order 15, I order 20, that $20 will stay the same. That's the constant. That's my y-intercept. Got me?
Okay.
Okay. This question looks hard. This question looks hard. But you got to identify what's given. My price P. Look at this equation. So they're telling you the price of the bracelet is your P. So the price of the bracelet equals $7 plus 0.05. What does my B stand for? Times the number of B's that I had. Right from there, I know those two can't be it. There's no way 0.05 can be the price of my bracelet because that's what P stands for. I know it can't be the number of bracelet because there's no variable in here that tells me the number of bracelet. My equation tells me the price of one bracelet. So now I know it's not B or C. Now I have A or D. Even if I don't know what to do, I got a 50-50 chance to get it right. That's called an educated guess. Got me?
All right. Okay.
What's another one? Let me go to who's that? Let's go to another. Okay, here's another. Because what I've been getting recently is I've had students go into the math course, they're getting the computation right. And then when you get to the word problems, they have no idea how to do it.
Me. That's me.
Because what your brain is doing, you're seeing that word problem and it's saying, I don't know how to do it. And you are you're cutting off oxygen to your brain. So when you come across a problem that you don't know how to do or think you don't know how to do, I want you to hear me in your ear. Identify the givens, identify what they want to know. So let's look at this problem. Isabella saved $15,000. That's a given. And bought a car that costs $12,700. That's a given. The insurance for the car will cost $600 per year. That's a given. How many full years? So this is the question now. So that's the given. What do they want to know? How many full years will Isabella able to pay for car insurance with her remaining savings? Okay, so first I need to find out her remaining savings. How would I do that? How would I do that?
You subtract the 15,000 to the 1270.
Yeah.
You said it wrong, but I know what you meant. You subtract the 12,700 from the 15,000.
15,000, yeah.
So you get 2,300. So that means after you buy your car, I got $2,300.
Right.
So now it says, how many full years will Isabella be paid for the car? Be able to pay for the car insurance. Now, let me ask you a question. What answers do you know it can't be?
25 and 21.
Listen, 25 and 21, because if you know insurance is 600, you know 21 times 600 or 25 times 600 got to be over $2,300.
Yeah.
So that's the point I tried to make. So right away, you got rid of 2 answers. So you know the answer is 3 or 4. You got a 50% chance. Now, this is the important part. How many full years? So watch this. If you didn't know the answer, 600, 1,200, 1,800, 2,400. If you didn't know how to do this problem, you can say how much my insurance going to cost. This is the first year. This is the second year. This is the third year. This is the fourth year. How much money do I have?
23.
No, you got 2,300.
2,300. Can I pay for the fourth year?
No.
No. So what year? How many full years can I pay?
3.
3. Now, how you supposed to do this is 2,300 divided by 600.
600. Yep.
Yeah.
You got 3 point something, whatever
Right.
it is. What is 1,800? That's 5 over 6. So that's what, 0.83.
3 point, yep.
See, that mental math is crazy. Why? Because I knew 3 times 600 is 1,800. 2,300 minus 1,800 is 500. So 5 over 6. I know 1/6 is 0.16, right? Then I multiply that by 5. Stop playing. See what I'm saying? That mental math is crazy. You got to know that fraction, dozen, percent equivalent. So, but the question is how many full years? Most people round this off and say, this rounds off to 4. No. If I got enough money to play for 3.8 years, that's not enough for 4 years. That's only enough for 3.
All right.
And people get this question and they get lost. What I want you to do is identify your givens, identify what they know, eliminate the ones you know cannot be the answer. So at least if you don't know how to do it, at least you increase your chances for getting it right. Got me? Let's find another word problem. You know what? I like the one where this. So this is what I'm gonna do here. We're gonna do a little something different. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, and I want you to tell me A, B, C, or D. I want you to send it to me in the chat. Don't send it to everybody. Send it to me in the chat. What's your answer? Lucy is shipping 5 boxes that all weigh the same. In one envelope that weighs 7.5 pounds, the total weight of the shipment is 65 pounds. What is the weight in pounds of each box? I want you to tell me is the answer A, B, C, or D. I want you to send me the answer. Send only me. So don't send everybody. Say when it's in the chat, say send to, change to my name. Then send your answer. A, B, C, or D. What is the weight in pounds of each box? And I'm timing you. I got the timer on. Let's see. I got one answer. Brandy. That is incorrect. Sharon. That looks correct. I didn't do the answer yet. I'm just going by just estimating it. So we're waiting for, let's see. Two people left. So I'm waiting for Miss Davis and Miss Wilson. And then the other 2 people left. Let's see what we get. I don't want you to be scared of word problems. We're going to get that out of our head. We are not scared of word problems. Multiple choice answers, we know one of them is the answers. One of them is the answer. So that way you can eliminate some, at least get down to a 50-50. And I'm going to give you how you do it algebraically. Then I'm going to show you the common sense way. A lot of questions can be solved using the common sense way. We got about a minute left. I gave 3 minutes to finish this problem. Brandy, that was incorrect, so you should be working on trying to fix that answer. Sharon, I believe your answer was correct, so you should be fine. But it's about a minute left. And then Rodney and Javette, y'all can send me your answers in a minute. Got about 30 seconds. So again, I'm going to show you how to do it algebraically. And then I'm going to show you how to do it the common sense way. Much better, Brandy. Much better.
Okay.
Much better. That makes me happy.
But that was my first mind, and I didn't go with my first mind. That's another thing.
Well, it shouldn't be first mind. We're not guessing. We should
No,
know the
not
answer.
right.
Right? So, let me let this alarm ring first. Okay, that was 3 minutes. So one of the things you should be able to do is when you're taking these practice tests, when you're taking the practice tests on my site, GED.com, GED Ready, you should be on average, you should be able to finish each problem in 3 minutes. If you cannot, that doesn't mean to stop working on that problem. Just take note that that problem took you more than 3 minutes. Why? Because when you get to an exam, you'll already know the types of problems that's going to give you more, that's going to take you longer than 3 minutes. So right away, okay, you know what? I'm skipping that, flagging for review. I'm coming back to that. Watch this. This problem should take you less than 1 minute or 2 minutes. But watch this. She's shipping 5 boxes that all weigh the same. One envelope weighs 7.5 pounds. The total weight is 65. So I know my total must be equal to 65. That's just setting up an equation. You should know that. Now, I don't know how much the boxes weigh. That is an unknown. So 5 times whatever they weigh plus 7.5 is equal to 65. That's how you set it up algebraic. 5 times how much they weigh plus 7.5 should be equal to 65 pounds. So I subtract 7.5 from both sides. Again, that's a decimal. Don't let it concern you. You should know I have 2 terms on the left side. I'm trying to get x by itself. I need to get rid of positive 7.5. How I get a positive 7.5 is negative 7.5. Whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. I bring down my 5x. My 7.5s cancel. I bring down my equal. And 65 minus 7.5 is what? 50, what? 7.5? Yep, 57.5. 64, 65. Yep. X is not by itself. This becomes a one-step algebraic equation. Divide both sides by 5. I get x equal 11.5.
Yeah.
That is how you solve it algebraically. Common sense is much easier. This is close to 21. This is close to 15. This is close to 12. This is close to 6. I'm just going to estimate. If each box weighs 21 pounds, 21 times 5 is 105. Can't be that because the total weight is 65. 15 times 5 is 75. It can't be that. 12 times 5 is 60 plus 7.5. Ooh, that's kind of close.
All right. Yeah.
6 times 5 is 30 plus 37 plus 7 is 37. It can't be that. Boom, got my answer. I'm done. That is the common sense way. Using the multiple choice answers to get the right answer. They're giving you, they're saying each box weighs 20.5. Well, I don't want to multiply 21.5. But I know how to multiply, even if I said this was 20. Even if I said this was 14, even if I said this was 11, even if I said this was 5, because all I do is want to estimate. I know 20 times 5 is 100. Can't be that. 14 times 5 is 70. Can't be that because it weighs 65. 70 is too much. 11 times 5 is 55 plus 8. We can estimate. That's around 63. Oh, it might be B. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 8 is 33. It can't be that. I got my answer. There's more than one way to skin a cat. That's what my grandfather used to say. I never knew what that meant, but hey, I like the saying. So, again, the common sense way says, I don't need algebra to do this problem. I know 20 times 5 is 100. I know 14 times 5 is 70. So I know it can't be C or D. 5.5 is entirely too small because 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 6 is 30. Too small. Done. This problem is a 30-second problem. But most people rush into the problem. Understand your answers. Read the question. Read the question. What do they want first? Identify your givens. If you need to use a formula, use a formula. But this should be less than a minute problem. And most people get this problem. And you're going to have 2 or 3 of these. 2 or 3 of these word type problems. Algebraic expressions. You're going to have 2 or 3 of these. These are, you got to know what certain words mean. Quotient means what operation?
Division.
Division. Got to know it. Sum is what operation?
Addition.
Addition. Got to know it. Times a number is what operation?
It's multiplication.
Gotta know it. Also, they like to use product. So for
Yeah.
multiplication, they love to use the word product.
Mhm.
And people say product is something you buy from a store. No, when they use product in a mathematical sense means multiplication. Difference means what?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. And less than means what? Subtraction.
Subtraction too, yeah.
3 times means what?
Times multiplication.
So there's certain words you need to know in order to do this problem. So first of all, we got division, the quotient of the sum. Right away, division, I know it can't be C, I know it can't be D. Because there's no division in C or D.
Right.
So right away, I got a 50-50 chance to get this problem if I don't even know how to do it. Just understanding the vocabulary is important. Quotient is division. There is no division in C or D. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking at my second part. The sum, which means addition, of 4 and 2 times a number. So I know that's 2x plus 4.
Yeah.
Because 2 times a number is 2x. The sum is plus 4. So that's 2x plus 4. In the difference of 6 less than 3 times a number, the difference
It's minus
subtraction of 3 times the number. So 3 times the number is 3x.
2x minus 6.
6 less is minus 6. So 2x plus 4 over 3x minus 6. I don't know how I drew that. Got me?
Okay.
Not a hard problem. But you got to know.
When you break it down, it makes it easier.
So that's why when you look at these problems, you go over these problems. Now, this is a hard problem. I can tell you right now, if I saw this problem on the GED, I would flag it for review. I would skip it and I would come back to it later.
Yeah, because I would have passed it over.
Now, I'm going to do the problem for you. I'm going to show you how to do it. And I'm going to come from a ground zero approach. I'm going to start from the beginning. Let me ask you a question. If I had to add 1/3 plus 1/3, what would be my answer? What's 1/3 plus 1/3?
2/3.
2/3. When a fraction has a common denominator, you just add the numerator. Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
If I have 1/3 plus 1/5, how would I do that problem?
Well, you can't add because you got different denominators now.
You have different denominators.
You have to find a common
So
denominator.
you must find a common denominator. So
That's 15.
I'm going to multiply. It's 15. So I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by 5. Here, I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by 3 because my least common multiple is 15, or my lowest common denominator is 15. But if you should notice, I'm multiplying this denominator by the other denominator. I'm multiplying this denominator by the other denominator. Do you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get 5 over 15 plus 3 over 15. I now have a common denominator. I can add them, and I get 8 over 15.
Okay.
So everybody knows how to do those problems. The problem is when they see something like this, they don't know what to do. It's the same exact steps. So this is my denominator of the first term. This is my denominator of the second term. So I'm going to multiply the second term. Oops, I should have probably extended parentheses. And let me erase those lines. And then I'm going to multiply the other term by the other denominator. Because remember, whatever I do to the top, I must do to the bottom. Why? Because x plus 2 over x plus 2 is 1. X over x is 1. So I'm not changing the value. So now multiply across. So I got 3 times x plus 2 over x times x plus 2 plus x times x over x times x plus 2. Does everybody understand how I got to this point?
Not really.
No.
Very easy. Remember, I told you I'm multiplying by x plus 2 over x plus 2. So here I'm just multiplying 3 times x plus 2.
Okay.
Here I'm multiplying x by x plus 2. So 3 times x plus 2, x times x plus 2. Got me? Here I'm multiplying x by x, x times x. Here I'm
Okay.
multiplying x by x plus 2, x times x plus
Okay.
2. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
So now, we should know, I got to use the distributor property. 3 times x, which is 3x. 3 times 2 is
That's
6. I'm not going to multiply this out. I can, but I'm going to keep it the same.
Okay.
X plus x plus 2, because I already got the same denominator. My denominator is x times x plus 2. These are the same denominator, am I right?
Right.
Plus
Yeah.
x squared over x times x plus 2. Now,
Oh,
just
okay.
like when we had the same denominator, we now add the numerators. But none of these are like terms. So this becomes x squared plus 3x plus 6 over x times x plus 2. This problem that looks like the most difficult problem on this exam is not a hard problem.
I need more learning for that one.
But what you got to remember is that when they gave you this rational expression, the denominators weren't the same. And
Right.
what you should remember is that you cannot add fractions that do not have the same denominator. So what you have to do is you have to find a common denominator. So the easiest way is to multiply everything, the first term, by the denominator of the second term. Then multiply the second term by the denominator of the first term, both top and bottom. And then you simplify. This is a hard problem. This is a problem that takes time because, first of all, you have to realize that they have these two rational expressions have two different denominators. Then you had to multiply by the other denominator. Then you had to use the distributive property. Then you had to combine like terms. It's a lot of work in this problem. So if I solve a problem like this again, what I would tell you to do is finish the exam, come back to it. The most important concept to pass this exam, I can't tell you enough. If you see a difficult problem, flag it for review, skip it. Get to a problem that you know you can do. And let's try one last word problem. Because all I saw in my email yesterday, today, and over the weekend were word problems, word problems, word problems, word problems. A rental company carries tables that seat 2, 4, or 8 people. For a wedding, a customer orders X tables that seat 2 people. Again, identify your givens. Y tables that seat 4 people. Z tables that seat 8 people. So what you understand is, so again, let's put this in common sense terms. So I have a table that seats 2 people. If I have 2 tables that seat 2 people, how many guests are there? So if I have 2 tables that seat 2 people, how many guests can I seat?
4.
4. If I have 6 tables that seat 2 people, how many guests do I have?
Oh,
Okay, what operation did you do?
multiplication.
So when I see this right here, that's 2x. Understand that?
Yeah.
So you do the same thing for 4 people. Y tables, that's 4 people. So this is 4y. This is 8z. So if I want to know how many people can fit, what do I have to do to 2x, 4y, and 8z to find the total people in the
Multiply.
so hold on. So
Oh no,
okay.
you have to multiply each one, but add them together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
2x plus 4y plus 8z. So these the number of people that's going to be at 2 tables. This the number of people that going to be at tables that seat 4 people. And this going to be the number of people at 8-person tables. To find the total number of people, you add them up. This is the answer. Most people get this wrong. Most people select this one. Most people select this answer because they're not thinking. They're not putting in
Not a
common
plus.
sense. So if you say, so look what I just did. 2 tables that seat 4 people. 6 tables that sit 2 people. That's 12. You said, okay, that's multiplication. Okay. So I got 2 tables that fit 4 people. So that's 8. So if I wanted to know if I had 12 people for 6 tables and had 2 tables of 4, how many people? 12 plus 8. That tells me I need to add, not multiply. Because if I multiplied, I got 96. Oh, it can't be 96. But you see what I did? I put it in a real scenario so I know I'm not supposed to be multiplying. And I don't even know what this. Let me see this. First of all, I don't even know what these. What? How did he even get that? What is that?
I don't know.
I don't even know what that is.
They got Y plus B, Z.
This would be 14 XYZ.
Oh no.
What? This would be 14 times X plus Y plus Z. So this would be 14X plus 14Y plus 14Z. Right away, you should know these two are impossible to be. So understand what I'm saying to you now. Take everything that I'm taking to you tonight. What I'm saying is when you look at the GED exam, first of all, you should recognize that through all these examples, there are 2 answers that it can't be. So right away, when you start taking my practice test, start looking. So now I made mine harder. So a lot of my answers could be the answer. So mine's a little bit harder. I don't have those anomalies. But for the GED practice, usually 2 of the answers are totally wrong. They can't be those answers. So at least if you can't get it right, you get it down to 2 answers. Like for example, right here. Right away, I know minus y times plus y is minus y squared. My last term is minus y squared. It can't be that. It can't be that. So even if I don't know how to do it, I know my first term is 2x times 3x, which is 6x squared. So I know my first term is 6x squared. I know my last term is minus y squared. It can't be that. I'm done. I don't even need to know what the middle term is because I eliminated 3 of them just by knowing how to get the first term and last term. That's a 15-second problem. Most people would do this, though. Most people would say, okay, 2x times 3x, 6x squared. 2x times y is 2xy. Minus y times 3x is minus 3xy. Minus y times y is minus y squared. I got like terms here. 6x squared minus xy minus y squared. Do I still get the same answer? Yes. But if you understand the multiplication of binomials, you know how to get the first term and last term. So the first thing I would tell you to do is get the last term, that minus y squared. So that's why I eliminated C and D. Now I got a 50-50 chance because I only got A or B left. I know what the first term is. 3 times 2 is 6. So I don't know if it's 6x squared. It doesn't matter. 6 and then x times x is 6x squared. I know it can't be B. I'm done. 15 seconds, I'm out of there. Now, if you do it algebraically, you see how long that problem took me.
Right.
But knowing when you practice enough, multiplying binomials, remember I told you math is about patterns. You should start seeing the patterns, the work that you do. So when you get to that problem on the GED, oh, I got this easy. But what you can't say is, I don't know, stop your brain from thinking. No. Hear Mr. Tinsley in your head. If I don't know it, I have no idea how to do it, I'm going to flag it for review and I'm going to skip it. I'm going to come back to it. That's the first thing you should be thinking. If you look at a problem and you know from all the practice that you've been doing that these type of problems give you difficulty or you don't know where to start, don't even waste your time. Flag it for review, skip it, get to the next question. Then when you come back to it, read your question, identify your givens, then try to work on it. But the most important thing, most important advice I could give you is go through the whole test, do your easy and medium questions first. So if you have to skip a difficult problem, don't worry about it, skip it. finish the exam first, then come back to all the questions you flagged or the difficult problems. Got me? If you do that, most of you can pass the next time you take this exam. If you just take that advice, you can pass the exam. I'm telling you. Okay? So even though my dad is sick, I'm back in business. I'm ready to go. So let's get these exams. Let's get to this math exam. Let's pass it. Let's get this done. All right.
All
Any
right.
questions before we leave?
Mr. Tizzy, do we have like somewhere we could do practice ones? Like it's
Send,
like a
send me an email and I'll give you my site to practice on.
okay.
All right.
All right.
Any other questions?
Mr. Tiffany,
Hmm?
this is Sharon. I'm paying for my test to do my test Friday. I'm paying for it. So I can, you have to make an appointment for it.
Right. You already
So
scheduled it already?
that's when I'm scheduling it Friday because I had money to do it.
So but you're not scheduling it to take it Friday. You just paying for it and scheduling it
Yes,
for Friday.
I'm paying for so I'm just giving you a heads up.
Okay. Once you
So
schedule it, give me that date. We'll do our one-on-one session. We'll make sure you're ready to take it. So
yes.
you'll take you take another practice test, see what you got right or
Mhm.
wrong, and then we'll
Okay.
identify what you got wrong. We'll go over that. So when you take your exam, be ready to go.
All right. I'm
All
ready.
right.
All right. All right.
Now
After
don't
that.
forget to send me that date.
I'm not,
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm up to here with it now.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful night.
You
All
too.
right,
Yeah,
you
Have
you
a
too.
Thank
wonderful
you.
Take
day.
care. Bye bye.